Good afternoon. I'm Paula Broadnax, and I'd like to welcome you to our monthly interview with one of our contributing authors to our book, We Survive to Thrive. Today, we are honored to have with us contributing author Connie Haynes. Hey, Connie.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Good.
Thank you for taking time out today to be with us.
A pleasure.
Really delighted. I know we're going to have some wonderful things to share this afternoon.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes. As you know, We Survive to Thrive has been written by breast cancer survivors. Even though this book is written by breast cancer survivors, the life lessons we believe are there to give hope to anyone that may be going through a trial. And so, what we're going to do today is delve a little bit more into the book and the life lessons and just share more of ourselves. Primarily, Connie will share more of herself with our listening audience. Before we hear from Connie, I'd like to say that Connie and I are both breast cancer survivors. And as such, our mission, as we believe it, is to share about breast cancer awareness. We believe that breast cancer awareness is 365 days of the year, not just a month in October. We believe that because until they find a cure for it, Connie and I, as well as other breast cancer survivors, should be about sharing what we know regarding awarenesses and also regarding our journey through that situation. I will tell you just a little bit of how we got to the point of We Survive to Thrive. As an 18-year breast cancer survivor, I count it a joy and a blessing to be at this point in my life. When I was diagnosed 18 years ago, I had a dream that God had given me. And I believe that that dream came to fruition more quickly as a result of that cancer diagnosis. The dream and the vision that God had given me was to own a bed and breakfast inn in the Caribbean. And my husband and I, Tommy, were blessed to move to the Virgin Islands and open an inn called In Paradise. And as God saw fit, and as it turned out, that inn and that experience turned into a ministry. It turned into this. It's been a journey all along the way, these 18 years. So I documented my God story in a book called Dreams, Hopes, and Possibilities. Continuing along the journey and talking all along the way, I just continued to meet different people that, like myself, were cancer survivors, breast cancer survivors. And their stories were just as phenomenal as mine. They were intriguing, they were inspiring. I was in awe and just encouraged by the beautiful people that I have met and that I continue to meet all along the way. And so as I journeyed along, I believe that their stories should be told to the world as well. So therefore, We Survive to Thrive came into fruition. And Connie is one of those beautiful ladies that agreed to be a part of that book. And so here we are today. Here we are today with Connie. But before we get to her, there's one other thing I wanted to share. For the past couple of weeks, there have been things that have been happening in my life that continue to affirm and reaffirm our purpose of what we're doing, Connie. And you'll remember this as my church sister. There was a message of a couple of weeks ago during Men's Day, and the pastor talked about thriving. You remember that?
I remember that. Right.
We were, that was when we had our cancer.
We had our reception
Exactly.
on the same day.
Exactly.
His vision seemed to somehow coincide with what we were doing.
It did. It certainly did. His message was on thriving. Mm-hmm. And then what about today? The message was, there is something in the struggle. Well, I don't want to preach that man's sermon again, but we know that there's something in the struggle.
It continues to be a message that's sent out to tell everybody that you're not going through it alone.
Right.
God didn't bring you this far to let you go. You know, there's a lot into sharing, because it's, as we were talking earlier today, it not only strengthens you first, um, to be able to go out and encourage somebody else, it is interesting that we somehow, in the messages, that we haven't talked to the ministers or the pastors at all, but it keeps coming back to sharing.
It does. And to me, Connie, what that says is that at this time in the world, some do not have hope. They don't know where to find hope. But we have hope, and we know who that hope is in. That's right. And so I think that just because of the world situation, the state, our message is relevant. You know?
That we're to stay focused. God, you know, I can say for myself, and as we talk to other survivors, and even with the people that are going through the cancer situations currently, God has put us in a place, and we're not by ourselves. We're to open up to Him. We're to see where He's taking us. It is a journey, and if we put ourselves in His hands and let Him guide us through that journey, it's a different experience entirely. And you know, as we had the cancer survivor reception recently, and I shared with you, just letting, even if it was just one person, that we were able to give hope. Yes. That it's going to be all right. As we share our God stories, and we had a number of wonderful God stories, both from men and women, to let each other know we're there for each other, first of all. It's not, I never considered cancer as anything scary. I never could consider it to be scary, because it could be anything, but it's how you go through it. Who you depend on as family, God first, of course, your family, your friends, and the cancer ministry itself here at our church at Green Forest has been a tremendous help. And I had sent a note out at one point, shortly after I had joined the ministry, that I felt that I was in one of the most powerful groups that I had ever been involved with in my life. Because of the sharing and the commitment, because of the freedom to speak, and it's all right. The freedom to share, and it's all right. And that's what a lot of people might be missing when they lose that hope. It's possible. They don't know where to go. They don't know what questions to ask. But if you know, I just feel that our ministry is a godsend.
Well, it's definitely been a blessing to me. I will tell you that. Well, Connie, what is the name of your chapter in the book, We Survive to Thrive?
My chapter is, I don't believe He's brought me this far to leave. Because of all the things that we were going through at the time I was diagnosed, the move from Virginia, bringing two teenagers out of high school into another high school is not an easy task. And then trying to find a house on this side, trying to find employment on the other side. Yeah. I just felt that even with this, Lord, I don't believe You brought me this far to leave me. I think what my testimony would be, looking back through the years, okay, God, I know You're with me. Yes. And even in the, I had shared in the book that when my husband and I had gone to the doctor, and we went to the doctor together, and he gave us, well, we knew something was wrong because we had come back from our vacation, and a message was left on our voicemail on our phone that we needed to come in to his office. So we knew something was not right. Okay. Wasn't a scare. I mean, you know, we weren't afraid, but we knew it was a serious matter that it wasn't to be, dismissed. And so we went to the doctor's office, and to this day, if there was anyone else in that reception area, I don't remember. It was just a connection between my husband and ourselves, because that was a us thing that we were having to go through. And it somehow, and it may have been before, but I don't ever remember seeing a Bible in a bookcase in a doctor's office. And with all of that going on, it just told me that God, I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here. And that's why I don't believe He's brought me this far to leave me. We took the Bible and we read scripture, and when it was time to go in and talk to the physician, we were okay. He was preparing. He had just continued to prepare us, even until that point. And that just lets you know just how awesome God is.
That He is. That He definitely is. That's beautiful. You shared a little bit about your story in the book. We don't want to give all your story away.
Right.
But your title says a lot. And as we talk about hope, and we talk about our desire to inspire and encourage others, I think in summarizing that in a little bit, is if we glimpse back over our lives and see where God has brought us from and what He's brought us through, we can say, I don't believe He's brought me this far to leave me, every time some situation occurs.
And another thing in today's message with the pastor that spoke, he said this is another chapter in his life. That was a chapter in my life. And I think that book, that chapter, that book just continues to open, to continue to be filled. It changes. It's not the same. This chapter today may not be the same chapter tomorrow. It's a chapter.
Life is a journey.
It's a journey.
And you're right, and I agree. God is continuing to use me, to use you. Therefore, there will continuously be chapters, right? Chapters for us to write. I done started writing, and I don't know when I'm going to stop. I think I have 3 more books in there. There's something to tell. I have something to share, Yes. Well, Connie, I'd like to ask you, when we go through life situations, we change. And I think that we can change in a lot of different ways. If we address our whole being, our mind, body, and our spirit, we can change in every area of our being. So as it relates to the cancer experience, is there anything you could share with the listening audience on what changes may have occurred, first thing with your mind?
I think the change that it made for me, I've always been a logical person, first of all. And when the cancer was diagnosed, it wasn't a thing where I was, most people think of it as the big C. It was another episode of, okay, Lord, because another thing is that as a youngster, I've seen a lot of illness too.
Okay.
And so I was involved with the illness of my grandfather, who lived in our home and was ill and bedridden. So I'd gone through that. I had seen the illness of an aunt who had cancer. I didn't have to experience it with her face to face, because actually she was in the hospital most of the time. But my grandfather, especially, here I am can't remember, maybe about 14, maybe 15 years old, having to help take care of him, helping to help bathe him and clean him and things like that. So I was, I guess all from way back in my earliest years, somehow I was just being prepared for. So I think in that preparation also strengthened me.
Absolutely.
You know, I was the oldest of 4 kids, a single mom that was raising us. And so a lot of times I'd be home with the kids myself. So I just kept being more of an adult in different ways. And so I got to this point in my personal experience, and it was like, okay, here's an episode. What do we do? Where do we go? And it wasn't a thing where I need to be afraid. I had like I said, young girls in high school. It was the thing of taking care of them first. So it just continued that episode of taking care of someone else. And then in the meantime, when it was time to take care of myself, yes, I did deny myself for a while of exercise and going to the doctor, those kinds of things. But still, the idea of taking care of others was so instilled in me, I didn't have time to be afraid. It just was not a part of me. It was always, this had to be done. I had to, like I said, raising 2 teens that I had just taken them out of a high school where they truly didn't even want to move here with us. That was my concentration. I had another concentration other than the cancer.
Okay, as it relates to your body, were there any things different that you decided to do that you weren't doing before, or what have you, with the experience encourage you to do anything different with your body?
Well, I know, like I said, when we were in Virginia, I did do better in terms of exercising. And I know I'm pretty sure that had an impact. Stress has a lot of impact on how well you will be, how you come through the experience, the surgery, the after effects of it. Stress has a lot to do with it. And before I was the hero. I was the shero. I was the superwoman. I'm gonna put that down. It was time to take care of myself, not to be selfish now, not that I did not continue to do things that were required of me as a wife, as a mother, as a church person, but still I had better common sense that says, girl, if you don't start doing some things right away for yourself, you won't be here to take care of your family. So I shifted from that shero thing, and just became a person. It just became a person.
That's a common thread I hear a lot, especially from women of color. I thought I was Mother Teresa. I took care of everybody, and God gave me the strength to do it and what have you. But this experience taught me that if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of nobody else. That was a hard pill to swallow, but it makes sense. And I had to get to a place, and I'm sure about like you, to not feel guilty about taking time out for myself, to not feel guilty about saying no, to not feel guilty when I say, I'm sorry, that will not work for me. I can't do that.
That's a good word, guilty, because that does play a part in how we handle things a lot. We just think, if I don't get it right, it won't get done. And sometimes it doesn't have to be done. Or if it does, it doesn't have to be done by us.
Absolutely.
And the world is not going to crumble if it doesn't get done. It took that time that I didn't have to feel that I was being negligent in my responsibilities. It let me know that, hey, there's some things that you need to let your family do anyway. That there are teenagers that need to know how to take care of themselves. there's a spouse that needs to know, even though it wasn't a problem for him to take on more responsibility, but now it's time. This is something I can't handle. It's okay to say that.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, sometimes we have to be laid on our back, looking up, where all we can do is to receive the help that we need. Yes. But I got it, Connie. You got it.
I got it.
All right.
I got it.
I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as it relates to the experience, the cancer journey, how has it impacted your spiritual being?
I won't say totally into God, but I'm certainly more aware of God. I'm trying to listen more. I'm trying to not put me out there first, and to walk with him ahead of me, not beside me, but ahead of me, because that's where he needs to be. That's his role, you know. And that thought train has really slowed me down, to look at things, to look at life more explicitly, more clearly, and be just so thankful. Just be so much more thankful. And even just this conversation today of sharing something you encouraged me a lot to do this, and I'm just going to use the word encourage. And you did. You encouraged me a lot. Something I would not have done on my own. But when you think of the goodness of God and how much he's done for me, it would be very selfish for me not to share it with someone else.
Well, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being willing to share with others. It takes courage. It takes courage.
We talk a lot in church, in our Sunday school. Of course, my husband is my shepherd, but we talk a lot about coming out of the box of comfort. Get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And that's what sharing is all about. Get out of your comfort zone and seeing the need of others. I've already been delivered. And I want others to know about that deliverance and how they can have it, and how they can have that peace and that joy that goes beyond any understanding of man.
Absolutely. Beautifully said, Connie. Oh my goodness. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. That's what this book, We Survive to Thrive, is all about. It's the life lessons that we know, the God, oh gosh, it's what we know, the hope that we know, the hope that we have, how we can get through life's trials, any type of situation that we come encounter with. And so we want you to be encouraged and inspired and have that hope as well. Copies of this book and with Connie's full story and that of 9 other women are available in this book. We Survive to Thrive is available on wesurvivetothrive.com as well as on amazon.com. It's available in paperback and also as an ebook. I know that you have been inspired and have gotten something out of what Connie has shared here. And before we wrap up, I would like to ask you if there are 1, 2, or 3 bullets or important things that you would like to leave with our listening audience.
One of the things that I think that I'd like to share is that there's nothing that God can't do for you. There's no experience that he can't bring you through. There's nothing that God won't give you if you ask him. My most fervent belief is that if you trust in God, all things are possible. There's nothing He won't give you. And with that thought in mind, you can always walk with your head high, no matter what circumstance you're going through, whether it would be cancer or anything else. We just so happen to have experienced cancer, but there's nothing God won't do or can't do. We serve a great God.
Yes. And He loves us. He loves
He
you.
loves us.
God is love. And so on that note, Connie, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank
I
you,
love and
Paula.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you,
Thank
Paula.
God for you.
Thank you.
Yes. And thank you all for being with us. We look forward to seeing you next time. Be blessed.
Bye.